Hello and welcome back to another episode of Saving Scunthorpe, and we have took Scunthorpe into unknown territory as we have reached the Premier League for the first time in the club's history. And if you did miss the last episode, I highly recommend you go and check it out because something pretty big happened and I'm about to spoil it. And that is, of course, that we won the club's first major trophy in the FA Cup in an extra time win against Norwich City, and that was a huge moment for us. However, something I hadn't taken into account was it does put us in Europe during our first year in the Premier League, and also we've got the Community Shield to play. I've spent the summer working on transfers. I don't know if we're done, but let's have a look at what we've done so far. So outgoing, if we flick back onto last season, there might be a couple that have snuck through. Ramsey has left for £225,000. Sonny Perkins has left for £8.75 million. That's after he'd already been on loan, which we'd got some money for. We've sold Vernon to Bristol City. We sold Batista to Boa Vista for £325,000. We've sold Harrison Hampson for £91,000. Alfie Doy for £6 million. And then Sidney Opry for £4.2 million, possibly rising up to £6 million. And we have also got a 50% sell-on clause with him. Incomings, which is where we want to focus on, we've had quite a bit. So let's have a little look at what we've done. Our first signing was Dylan Jones. He's come in on a free transfer from Liverpool. He's not amazing, but it's more of we can bring him in, develop him a little bit, and maybe sell him on for a bit of profit. He's coming on a free. Milton has come in from Boa Vista for £4.6 million. It is quite expensive. However, he was on the list of Wonder Kids in the next gen top 50. And to be fair, in pre-season, he's looked pretty good. So I'm hoping he can make a big impact for us this year. Another player bought in from that list is Loverstadt, coming in from Bran for £4.3 million. It is slightly lower than that, but rising up. I don't know if it's installments or if it's clauses, so I'm not 100% sure. But again, looks very good. I'm hoping we can have him develop with us and become one of our key players as we progress in the Premier League. Next, we have John O'Connor. I don't think he was on the list, but he does look very, very good. He might have been on the list. Who knows? He's come in as a target forward, 6'3" from Hearts. Again, bit of money on him, 4.8 million, but looks a fantastic option off the bench, and we are toying with going to 2 up front. And then we've started to bring in some bulk at the back. We've brought in 6'6" Jake O'Brien. My plan this year is to make the most of set pieces, and people who are 6'6" are going to help us with that. We've then got a free transfer coming in from Brighton in Mikel Raven. He looks pretty good. He's got a bit of flexibility. He can play in midfield, number 10, right wing or right wing back, which is something we are experimenting with, and looks like he's going to be coming in and doing a very good job for us. Hopefully he stays for the long term as well. We did confirm Anthony Wright-Rice from Fulham for £175,000. Obviously we had him on loan. He impressed me enough to come in. I'm not sure he's going to be starting for us. We have brought in a new left back, but looks a very good option for us to have on the bench. Next we have Arnau Kumas, who's come in from Cardiff for £3 million, 6'3", another player who we're bringing in more for bulking out our centre-backs, because our centre-backs were only like 6'1", I think was our tallest, so we needed to make sure we had some taller options. We did try and get a guy in who was 6'8", but he rejected us to go, I think it was to Toulouse. However, we do have 6'5" Stefan Camden, who's come in. Again, another really good player. I'm a bit worried by the fact that his strength is only 10, but we are going to get him working on that. In fact, I didn't realise I hadn't done so, so we're going to get him working on that. Lyle Foster came in on free from Nottingham Forest. They were releasing him. We've brought him in as, again, a nice option off the bench. He's 6'1", should be able to do a decent job for us, and particularly with us going to 2 up top for some games, I think he could be an important player. We then have Ronnie Edwards, who's a centre-back, only 5'11". However, he can also play holding midfield. We've brought him in as more of a player who can come in and be a bit of a ball player for us in the games where it's suitable. It's not going to be always suitable, but we want that option at times. We then have Tariq Lamptey. He's come in on a free transfer from Aston Villa. You all know who he is. He can play down both sides, which is what made me want to bring him in. Lots of versatility on either wing, so why not bring someone like that in? We then have Tyrese Campbell coming in on a free from Sheffield United. a striker. He's 33. We've brought him in for a bit of experience. 16 finishing, which is very nice. Nice option for us to have in and around the team. And again, if we're going to 2 up top, it's going to be very nice. And also, he can play on either wing as well. Then we have Bruno Dujardin. He's come in from Rennes on a free transfer. Looks a pretty good option for us. He plays on the right wing. We're training him to play at right wing back as well, so we've got a more attacking option than some of our other options. And ideally, in some of the games against weaker teams, we could start him, and then if we're winning, we can then bring on one of our more defensive ones. We then have our most expensive signing of the summer, Willie Smith, coming in for 5.5 million from Plymouth. Looks a very good option at left back and left wing back for us. And yeah, I've made the decision we needed a left wing back. Shane Flynn, we're trying to sell. He's kind of past usefulness now. And this guy looked the best option out of who my scouts could find, so we brought him in. And our final transfer so far is Jens Castuste. Can play at right back, right wing back, holding midfield, or in centre midfield. He can move further forward, although he's not particularly great at it. But for his work rate, teamwork, his aggression, I think he's a well-rounded player that most likely we're looking at him for a bit of experience, and if we're leading, he can come in and just shore us up for the last 15-20 minutes. All those signings have not helped us, however, in the eyes of the bookies, who still have us at 1,000 to 1 to win the league, so I imagine we are firm favourites for relegation, and hard to argue with them really, but if we can pull off staying in the Premier League, we'll be very, very happy. We've had a good pre-season. We started off with a 2-0 loss to Norwich, however that was our first game. We very much were just rotating the team. We've then had 2-0 win against Musselburgh Athletic, 7-1 win against East Stirlingshire, 5-0 win against Darvel. We then had a 2-1 loss to West Ham, but we were very competitive on that game, so it is sort of a sign of good things to come. We had a 4-1 win against PSV Eindhoven, which was absolutely fantastic, and a 5-4 win against Lazio, also in our final friendly of the season. And again, that feels like a good sign. We've got Manchester City today, so that's going to be a very tough ask. But let's go in and see what we can do. And here we have our formation, particularly for games where we're expecting to be on the back foot. We've got Izaguirre in goal, a back three of Julian, Edwards and Nallo, Lamptey and Smith as the wing-backs. We've then got Kajuste and Umanai in midfield, Bjarnason in the number 10, and then we've got Connor and Milton up front. I've just noticed their footedness, so we're going to just swap those two around at the top. But that is our lineup to play Manchester City. Let's see if we can cause an upset in the Community Shield. Keenan with a throw-in for Manchester City, plays it back to Gvardiol, and then Umanai has got there and nicked the ball, plays it back to Julian. Lamptey switches play towards Smith, but Lewis wins the header. Nallo steps in, and we've given the ball away. Haaland shoots, and it goes over the bar. Izaguirre with a goal kick. Wasn't a goal kick, but we've won the header. Milton can't bring it down, though. Umanai gets it, plays it out to Smith. Ball on to Connor, who knocks himself into the box. Oh, he gets the chance for a cross, but unfortunately it's blocked, and Seaman with the save. He throws it out to Keenan at left back for Manchester City and play it down the wing to Foden. Inside to Haaland, through to Haley, and then he goes backwards. Nallo steps in, gets a foot on it, plays it to Milton. He plays a ball on to Connor. Oh, that should have been... Well, Connor should have been on the other end of that. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Lewis back to Antonio Silva, and they're playing it between those two at the back. Forward to Kone, out to Foden on the left. Chance for City here. Ball over the top, finds Haaland, who buries it, but he was offside, or at least the flag's gone up. Whether he was offside is going to be down to VAR, and he was. Izaguirre takes the free kick from that offside towards Smith, who nods it back to Kajus, loses it cheaply. Haaland to Beckman. Edwards has got a foot in there, and Julian plays it to Umanai. Forward to Milton, back to Lamptey, and then down the wing for Milton to run onto. He gets into the box. He turns and plays it back to Lamptey. He's been forced backwards, finds Edwards, and then back to Lamptey again. Ball in, finds Bjarnason, who sends it over the bar. Lewis throws the ball straight to Kajus. That was a weird throw-in. Connor plays it back to Smith. and then he goes out to Lamperty on the right hand side. Cajuste has now picked up some sort of injury, so we might look to bring him off soon. Umanai gets the ball, plays it inside to Edwards. Ball has gone through to Milton, who scored. It's being checked for offside. Was he onside? Please be onside. He was onside. Scunthorpe lead against Manchester City. Demon with the ball at the back for City. Also, I've just realised I've mentioned Cajuste's injury, but not Smith's. He's come in with a damaged elbow. He's wearing protection, so we're letting him play through it. Lewis sends the ball in towards Beckman, but it's headed away back to Lewis. Haley on the edge, and City equalise. That was worthwhile. Haley with a corner for City, sends it into Silva, who hits the bar. Haaland loses the ball to Lamperty, but sends it back to Lewis. Smith throws the ball short to Cajuste, gets it back from him, plays it to Cajuste, who's forced backwards to Nallo, and please don't mess this up. Back heels it to Edwards. Okay, Nallo to Cajuste, finds Bjarnason, but he gets tackled and loses it. Ball out to the right hand side. Lamperty easily collects that. Umanai back to Julian, then ball over the top to Milton, who finds himself in the box. Plays it back to Lamperty. Crosses towards Connor, and we are back in front at Wembley. At half-time, we are 2-1 up against Manchester City. What a weird world we live in. We are going to bring Cajuste off because of his knock. We're going to bring Raven on in his place. Lewis throws the ball in for City and plays it back to Antonio Silva. And then Lely gets it from him. I think Lely's must have come on at half-time for City. I don't remember seeing him in the first half. No, I just never saw him. Fair enough. Bjarnason finds Connor out to Lamperty on the right-hand side. He gets into the box. He's forced backwards, but finds Edwards on the edge. Raven with the shot, and it's blocked. Haley's going to go and collect that as it falls kindly for him. And Smith, what have you done? He's just gone, no, you're not having this counter-attack. I'm hacking you down. Okay. Bjarnason come off for Rice. Connor on the ball here. Tries the ball to Milton, but can't find him. Haaland finds Beckman in behind Izagirre with the save. We are past the hour mark and still leading against Manchester City. Izagirre sends the ball forward towards Connor, who wins the header, but only finds Gvardiol. Lewis now finds Lely. Ball over the top towards Beckman. It's headed inside to Haley, who shoots and hits the post, and Nallo clears it away. Rice now collects it, and the highlight ends. We're going to bring Leverstad on for Umanai now, and we'll send Comas on for Edwards just because of his yellow card as well. Haley with the free kick sends it forward. It's headed away by Kumas, but only as far as Haaland, who pulls it back to Haley, shoots and finds the back of the net. Haley with the corner kick finds Gvardiol, and Izagirre with the save at the near post. I've noticed Connor is looking absolutely knackered, so we're going to bring him off for Munro, and Lamperty can come off for Ruto. Despite playing a good game, he's knackered as well. Connor's managed to get the ball here just inside the City half. Plays it back to Lamperty. This is taking place before the subs, and Haaland finds Olivia, who he chips it into Nallo. That is so harsh. And so we lose to Manchester City. They win the Community Shield. However, in spite of that, that was a fantastic performance from us. So I can't be unhappy with it. Absolutely phenomenal performance, particularly being down to 10 men for so long. As I say, can't be unhappy. And I suppose what we'll aim to do now is we'll come back for a Premier League game alongside our first game in the Europa League. We've got no idea who we're going to be playing yet, but we'll soon find out. We'll come back for those games. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Comment, what do you think we can do this season? Can we survive? What can we do in the Europa League? What can we do in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup? Who knows? Subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and thank you very much for watching.